is Paul Hirschenberg, and today I'm joined by my business partner, Rory Stone Walsh. We've had some pretty significant changes to employee benefits as it pertains to Cobra, and this is all part of the American Rescue Plan Act that was just passed last month. It was that new stimulus package. So Rory, obviously this thing revolves around Cobra. Can you start off by telling us what is Cobra?
Yeah, simply put, Cobra is basically just it's a federal law that allows employees to continue their benefits for up to 18 months or 36 months in certain circumstances after their termination of employment.
So with these new provisions that are part of that American Rescue Plan Act, what are the provisions and when does it start?
Yeah, so there's a few provisions. The main one is really going to be this. Any individual that is eligible for Cobra between 11/1/19 and 4/1/2021 is eligible to rejoin the plan as of April 1st, 2021. And then the second big part of this is some of these Cobra eligible individuals will also be eligible for premium assistance.
So Rory, anytime I hear the word premium assistance, I always go back to kind of figure out, well, who's going to pay what? So does this mean the employee just pays a partial cost of that Cobra, or does this mean they pay none of the cost?
So if they're deemed eligible for premium assistance, they will pay nothing for their Cobra.
So anytime I hear the word that says the employee pays nothing, I know somebody's got to pay for this. So could you explain who pays for this and how they pay for it?
Sure. So this is really a two-part answer. So the first part of this answer is this. Any employer that has over 20 employees and is subject to federal Cobra, or is under 20 employees and is subject to state continuation and has a level funded or self-funded plan, they are responsible for picking up the premium for this subsidy. And then they will be essentially reimbursed by the government through filing their payroll taxes at the end of the quarter. The second part of this answer is any employer that is under 20 employees and is subject to state continuation and is on a fully insured plan, they would have the premium picked up by their insurance carrier, and the insurance carrier would then basically file for the tax credit or reimbursement.
Perfect. So let me make sure I got this understood. So if the employer is under 20 and has a fully insured health insurance plan, it's the health insurance company that'll pay for the premium, and then they're going to get reimbursed by the government. But if the employer is either under 20 and on a level funded plan or self-funded plan, or they're just over 20, then the employer has to pick this up, and then they're going to get reimbursed by the government when they file their quarterlies. Is that correct?
That's correct. I think the only other piece to really just say is that they have to be subject to state continuation in their state if they're under 20.
Gotcha. How long does this thing go for?
So the program is starting April 30th. April 1st, and it's going through September 30th of 2021.
Can you take a second and tell us what makes somebody eligible for this premium assistance?
So it's basically any employee who is terminated involuntarily, or any employee who reduced their hours voluntarily or had their hours reduced involuntarily over the last 18 months.
Who is not eligible to receive this assistance?
So any employee who terminated their employment voluntarily or was terminated due to gross misconduct would not be subject to the premium assistance.
Gotcha. What if this employee left 6 months ago and they've got a new job and they're eligible for benefits through their new employer or even through like a spouse's plan? Are they eligible for this assistance?
They would not be. So basically any employee or any Cobra eligible individual that has insurance or is offered insurance through their employer or is subject to Medicare or is offered or has a spouse that's offered coverage through their employer is not eligible for premium assistance.
Okay, so having said that, at the end of the day, what does the employer need to do?
Okay, so there's a few action items you're going to really want to do. The first thing is you're going to want to put a list together of all of the eligible individuals between 11/1 and 4/1 of 11/1/19 and 4/1 of 2021 of anybody that's eligible for Cobra. And then you're going to want to look at that list, and then you're going to want to deem who is eligible for premium assistance and who is not eligible for premium assistance. And then the second part of the action plan is going to be this. If you have a third-party administrator, usually it's for most of the companies or groups that have over 20 employees and are subject to federal Cobra, you would provide this list to the TPA so that they can then send out these notifications to those Cobra eligible individuals. For most of the clients that are under 20 and are subject to state continuation that don't have TPAs, those employers are going to need to send out those notices themselves.
So Roy, so for those employers, that notice that we're talking about, where do they find that notice at?
Well, we're going to provide some links with the email and that are also going to be on the link that are going to essentially take you to the Department of Labor, and are also going to be links for the model notices that you would be sending out to these Cobra eligible individuals.
So if the employer is actually the one sending this notices out, are they just going to send the notice out to people that were eligible for premium assistance, or does anybody that was eligible for Cobra get this notice?
Any Cobra eligible individual that lost coverage between 11/1/19 and 4/1/2021, regardless of if they're eligible for premium assistance or not, needs to get a notification sent to them.
So that means that somebody who might have just quit voluntarily, and now it's been 8 months later and they've decided they want to jump onto Cobra and they're okay paying for it, they can now do that even though they've really passed their initial Cobra window?
Correct. Yes, that is correct. So it goes to anybody that lost coverage or was terminated voluntarily, involuntarily, is eligible for premium assistance, is not eligible for premium assistance. It goes out to everybody, and then they can rejoin the plan. And really, it's just at that point, depending on if they're going to be paying for the Cobra coverage, or if the carrier or the company will be paying for the Cobra coverage.
Gotcha. So as pertains to these TPAs, it sounds like if the client has a TPA and they're over 20, it sounds like the TPAs are the ones that are going to get this notice out. But if they don't have a TPA or they're just doing it themselves, then the employer has to make sure this notice goes out. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And the main thing really is here, this is basically the same thing as sending out a normal Cobra notice. You're subject to penalties and fines. So if you don't do these things, you could be subject to penalties and fines. I'm not going to go into detail on what those fines would be, but it could be pretty substantial because it's per day per person that you didn't send it to.
Gotcha. What's the time frame? When does this notice have to get sent out, either by the employer or by the TPA?
May 31st, 2021 for the initial notices to be sent out. So essentially anybody that in these windows we're talking about needs to have, it has to be sent out by May 31st in order to stay compliant.
Okay, so make sure I got this right. So this notice goes out. If the TPA is sending a notice out, if that former employee says, yes, I want it, they're returning that notice back to the TPA, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So that notice more than likely would be sent directly to the TPA, and then the TPA would notify the carrier and the employer that this Cobra eligible individual has responded and is requesting to be reinstated onto the plan as of April 1st.
So for people, for business owners out there that maybe don't have a TPA, maybe they're administering it in-house, that notice then would go back to the employer saying that, yes, this former employee wants to jump back on Cobra. What does that employer do at that point?
Yeah, if you don't have a TPA, you're going to reach out to us, your brokers, and we will help facilitate getting that former employee or that Cobra eligible individual put back onto your insurance plan.
So this thing runs to September 30th. What happens September 30th? Somebody says, yes, I want it. They've jumped on the plan. They've gotten their free insurance. September 30th rolls around. Does the employer got to provide any kind of notice before that date to make sure that former employee knows that their free insurance is ending?
Yep. So there is another model notice that is going to be sent out anytime between 45 and 15 days before September 30th. that notifies these premium assistance eligible individuals that their premium assistance is running out as of September 30th. At that point, these Cobra eligible individuals, regardless of if they're getting premium assistance or not, can have the opportunity to stay on the plan if they are still within their 18-month window, and they can pay for the whole. That's when they would go back to paying 100% of the premium, plus any type of surcharges, 2% for federal, 5% for mini Cobra. Or they would have the opportunity, they'd have a special election period to jump onto an individual plan through the marketplace. Or if they have any type of other options, such as Medicaid, Medicare, other options available, they could jump onto those at that point as well.
Can this thing ever get extended past September 30th?
Of course. Yeah. So just stay tuned. We will notify you if anything changes. These are always very fluid situations, and we will just make sure you keep in touch and watch our correspondence. We will notify you if any big changes happen between now and then.
Perfect. And for everybody listening to this call, me and Rory are not attorneys. We are not CPAs. We are really just trying to get all the information that we've been given. When we've been on a lot of calls with a lot of attorneys and a lot of CPAs and a lot of, Cobra TPA specialists that have really given us all this data. So as these things change, we'll definitely put all that information back out to you. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, any specific questions or any twists and turns, please feel free to reach out to Rory. All of his contact information will be at the end of this video. And once again, we recognize this is a fluid situation, so please stay tuned for more updates. We might even shoot another video down the road if things change.
And I think the main thing, look, we understand this stuff is very complicated, and we're here to help out in any way we can. If anybody needs, we will be facilitating lists to our employers that are under 20. So stay tuned for those. We will also be assisting any employer that's over 20. If they need a list, we can definitely work with them and see how we can help out.
Awesome. Well, Roy, hey, thank you very much for your time today. And really thank you for attending those hours and hours and hours of different calls and meetings over the last 2 weeks to even get us to the point we are right now. So thank you for that. You saved me a lot of time because I didn't have to go to them. So thank you for attending all those things. And everybody listening to the call, once again, thank you all very much. We look forward to seeing you all in person over the next few months. Have a very great day, and we look forward to seeing you soon.